So this is lecture 11. So due to some technical problem, I could not complete lecture 10. So today, first we will start the same problem that we were solving in that lecture 10. So this is that problem we considered in lecture 10. This is a simple circuit, and we have derived that state space model just by considering charges of that capacitors, and then we started solving that problem considering currents, and we have derived these two first order differential equation. Now if we write those two differential equations in matrix form, so we will get that I1 dot I2 dot, so this one is minus 2 by RC, then 1 by RC, and here you have that state vector, that is I1 I2, and the second equation is 1 by RC minus 1 by RC. So let us define so this matrix as A. So that means you can say that if I is that state vector, so that is d by dt is equal to AI. So this is one state equation you have, and if you define so like this matrix as A bar, so then you have another state equation, that is Q dot equal to A bar into Q. So now we are interested in to find what is the relationship between the two state vectors. So if you take state vector Q, so then you have one representation with the matrix A bar here, and if you take current as state variables, you have another representation where the system matrix is A. So let us see what is the relationship between these two state variables. So that is the relationship between Q, that is Q1, Q2, this is that state vector, and another state vector we have defined, that is I1 and I2. So in both cases we got two different state space model. We are just now trying to find what is the relationship between these two state vectors. So we have already derived that relationship. You can see here at the very beginning we have derived these two relationships, that is if we apply KVL here, then we get these two relationships. So here we are again writing, that is I1 minus 1 by RC Q1 plus 1 by RC Q2, and here you have I2 equal to 1 by RC Q2. So now if we write these two equations in matrix form, so I1 I2, that one would be equal to minus 1 by RC 0 minus 1 by RC Q1 Q2. So from here it is clear that this I1 and Q, these two vectors, state vectors, are related via a matrix which is defined as T. And you can see here this T matrix, T is a non-singular matrix, because if you find the rank or determinant, you can see that it is a full rank matrix, or the determinant would be equal to 1 by RC square. So we can write here as I equal to TQ. So this is actually the relationship. So we can understand that if we have say q vector, then if you multiply with one non-singular matrix, you would have another vector. So in this case, if we multiply with that q with this matrix, this particular matrix is a specific matrix, then we'll be having a new state vector, and this state vector has some physical meaning, that is that currents. But as we have discussed, always that state variables may not have some physical meaning. So that means if you take any non-singular matrix, say T1, so then again you will be having, say suppose if you take any non-singular matrix, say T1, any non-singular matrix T1, we have a new state vector. We have a new state vector Z. So this Z may or may not have any physical meaning, but you can get the infinite number of state vectors just by taking different T1. So now let us see, if we just take this type of non-singular matrix T1, or in this particular case if we take T, what is the relationship between A and A bar? So if you take the derivative of this equation, that is you have that di by dt equal to T dq by dt, and already you know that di by dt equal to this one. So di by dt equal to ai, so that is ai equal to T dq by dt. So then if you just replace this particular relationship, that is I equal to TQ, then what will you get? So T dq by dt equal to A. In place of I am replacing TQ. So then from here you will get that dq by dt equal to, if you multiply this particular equations from left T inverse, you would have T inverse ATQ. So now if you compare this particular dynamical equation with this dynamical equation, Q dot equal to A bar Q, so you can see that this particular matrix is A bar. So that means you have that relationship, that is A bar equal to T inverse AT. So now you can see from this particular relationship that you can also establish that A equal to, if you multiply with T from left and T inverse from right, then you have T A bar T inverse. So then you can see that, so here actually this T matrix is this one. It is a specific matrix you have taken. So suppose you have one state space representation, and that state space representation you have obtained just by taking state vector Q. So then if you take one T matrix, which is a non-singular matrix, and if you multiply that A bar from left with T and from right with T inverse, you will be having another system matrix, that is A. Similarly, if you take any arbitrary T1, which is non-singular matrix, and if you multiply with this one with T1 A bar and T1 inverse, then you will be having some other matrix. Suppose this is A dash. So again, this is another state space representation. So from this particular example, what we can see that state space representation is not unique. That means if you take different T matrix, non-singular T matrix, then you can have different state space representation. In this particular case, what we have seen, if we take that specific T, we have two different state space representation. In one case, it is with that charge, state vector is that charge, and in other case, the state vector is current. So eventually, if you take this particular T, then the new state vector has some physical meaning, that is that current, but you may not have that physical meaning, but you will be having the different state space realization. And interestingly, you can see here what is the eigenvalues. The eigenvalues of A bar and T inverse AT are same, because you know that from linear algebra, if you multiply a matrix with T inverse AT, I think it would be the eigenvalues of A and T inverse AT. So T inverse AT is defined as A bar. So that means eigenvalues of A and eigenvalues of A bar are same. So when eigenvalues are same, so basically the characteristics of the system also remain same. So that means even if you have two different state space representation, the main characteristics of the systems remain same. So that's why in this type of transformation, so here we are telling that this is a transformation, because if you have a vector Q, if you multiply with that vector with any non-singular T matrix, you would have a new state vector. So this is actually one transformation, but via this transformation, if you get a new state representation, the characteristics remain same. So that's why this particular transformation is named as similarity transform. So let us see the state variables. State variables are not unique, that we have seen. In this particular example, we got that charge vector as well as that current vector. We can have infinite number of representation by choosing different non-singular matrix T. So this is called similarity transformation. So that means one state vector representation to other state vector representation just by multiplying with a non-singular T. So here from this particular example, what we have seen, that state space representation is not unique. That means if you have a dynamical systems, you can have different state space realization. It depends on you what type of state vector you are, which state vector you are choosing. So now we have solved some problems and we have discussed some important aspects of state space representation. So now we will be describing a dynamical systems in state space form, and we'll be writing that general expression, that means for multi-input multi-output systems how it looks like. And it is important to note that the state space representation is applicable for both linear, non-linear as well as time varying, time invariant systems. But as in this course we are only interested in linear time invariant systems, so I'll be showing you the state space representation for both linear and non-linear time invariant system. So this is the general representation, and it is applicable for both multi-input and multi-output systems. So let us see, that is state space equations. So assume that a multi-input multi-output system involves n integrators. So n integrators means it has n number of states. It has r inputs, r number of inputs, that is u1, u2 to ur, m outputs, that means m number of outputs, that is y1, y2, yn. So then the system can be represented as, so this is the general expressions. So first I'll write that state equation, that is x1 dot t equal to a function which is again function of n number of states as well as r number of inputs, and you have that initial condition. So similarly, as you have n number of states, so you have that n number of equation, and here I think if you just look at this particular say equation that we have done say earlier, here you can see that, so this is a state equation, and this v2 dv2 by dt, it is function of two state variables x1 and x2, and other state variables are not involved here, and also it is a function of correct input. So here, so that function is represented in general form as this one, say f1 or fn, like this. They are function of state variables as well as inputs. So this set of equations are known as system equation. Sometimes it is also known as state equation, system equation, and of course you have that output equation, that is y1t. Again they are function of states as well as inputs, and you have m number of outputs. So this is actually the general representation of a dynamical systems in state space form, and here those equation set of equation is known as output equations. So in combined form, this is known as state equations. So this is actually that representation, and it is valid for all linear and non-linear time invariant systems, and both applicable to yes, linear and non-linear systems. So now you may note one thing. So note, for time varying system, so in this course we are not going to discuss the time varying systems, but it is just for your information. For time varying system, the state equations, it is x dot equal to function of x, u and t, and here you can note that the state equation is explicitly depending on the time t along with x and u. That is the difference with the time varying and time invariant case. So in this case you can see that as it is time invariant, it does not depend explicitly on t. So now we'll see that when the system is linear time invariant, then how the state space equations look like. When the system is linear time invariant, that is actually our main objective in this course, to study that linear time invariant system. The state equations, are as follow. So that means if it is a linear case, linear time invariant case, we can represent those state equation and output equation in matrix form. That is x dot t equal to axt. This is that standard form. You should remember these things always. But, and you have that initial condition. So whenever you write state space equation, do not forget to mention this initial condition, because without initial condition this representation is incomplete. So this is actually the representation in matrix form. When the system is linear time invariant system, so we can represent that system in state space form here like this. Now we'll just see what is its dimension. So suppose you have n number of state variables, so this vector is a n cross 1 vector, and if you have r number of inputs, so this is r cross 1, and if you have m number of outputs, so this y would be m cross 1. So these all are the vectors. So now we can see what would be the dimension, because this is n cross 1, so the dimension of A would be n cross n, and here just from matrix algebra, and the dimension of B would be equal to n cross r, and here U equal to r cross 1, so D would be equal to m cross r, and here you can see that the dimension of x is n cross 1, so that would be m cross n. So now here we'll just write the dimensions, and you note that all those four matrices are real matrix. So this is that real matrix. A is n cross n, and B n cross r, C M cross N and D M cross R. So now they have some name. So it has that name called that system matrix. The reason is this matrix carries all the informations of that system. That means the main characteristics of that system is carried out by this matrix A, because if you find the eigenvalues of that matrix, you will get all the modes of that system that we will be discussing later. And B is called that input matrix. The reason is you can see here this is associated with that input, that's why it is input matrix. But again, you may say that D is also associated with that U, then why D is not input matrix? We'll see it later, that it has a different name. It is called that feed forward matrix. So we'll describe later why it is called feed forward matrix. Then C is output matrix, because it is associated with that output, so that's why it is output matrix. So now we can see here that if the system is linear time invariant systems, so we can represent those state equation and output equation in matrix form, and these are the dimensions of that matrix. So now we'll see that if a system is described in state space form and we have that linear time invariant system, so the state space can be represented in matrix form. So how can you represent the state space in block diagram form? So that is block diagram of LTI system represented in state space. So that means if a system is described in state space, so what is its block diagram representation? So let us see. This is that state space representation. So then start with that integrator. Here you have that state vector x dot, and if you take integration, so then you have that x. So now just look at this first equation here. So x dot equal to axt plus but. So that means you need one comparator here, that is that summer, and if you multiply the state vectors with that matrix A, you will get Ax here, and you have another matrix and that input is entering, so here you have that plus. So then you can see that x dot t is equal to ax plus bu, and then go to that output equation. So in output equation you can see that yt equal to cxt plus dut. So that means here if you multiply the state vectors with a matrix C, then you have that cx, and there is a feed forward path. So now I hope you understand why the name of that D matrix is feed forward matrix, because from this state block diagram you can see that this D matrix is associated with that feed forward path, which is directly connected from input to output. So that's why its name is feed forward matrix. And here this is that block diagram representation of an LTI system when it is described in state space form. So this is very important. And now we will discuss one important topic of state variable analysis, that is state space to transfer function. So just now we have seen whenever a dynamical system is given, how can you have that block diagram representation whenever we have that state space description. So now we are just going to discuss that whenever a system is described in state space, can you find transfer function directly? The answer is yes. So transfer function. So that means a system is described in state space form. We are just trying to find what is its transfer function. So transfer function means it is only valid for linear time invariant system. So you can see here that state space description is axt plus but, and this is x0, that is that initial condition, and the output equation, that is yt equal to cxt plus dut. So then if you take Laplace transform, so taking Laplace transform, we get, so if we take Laplace transform, we get that sxs, so for first equation sxs minus, so this small s, that is that Laplace variable, and this is that initial condition axs plus bus, and here mind that this xs us all are vector quantity. So now if you take this term from right to left, what we have okay, so before taking that one, we again take the Laplace transform of that output equation. So that is ys equal to cxs plus dus. So now if you simplify this one, so that is si minus a, you note down this one, that is as they are vectors, so then if you take common here from this term and from this term, after taking that term to left, so that would be s into I is that identity matrix, I is identity matrix with compatible dimension. So that means A is n cross 1. If A is n cross 1 matrix, I would be n cross n matrix. So I is that identity matrix, means this is a 3 cross 3 identity matrix. So now x0, if you take on the right hand side, x0 plus you have bus. So then you can see here what is xs. So xs would be equal to si minus a inverse. I am just multiplying this particular algebraic equation from left with si minus a inverse. So then that is si minus a inverse bus. So this is that expression that we can have from that state system equation just by taking Laplace transform. So now if you replace this equation here, then what will we get? We get that ys equal to c into si minus a inverse x0 plus c into si minus a inverse bus plus dus. So as we are interested in to find transfer function, as you know, the transfer function is obtained whenever you assume that all initial conditions 0. So that means assume all initial condition equal to 0. So whenever all initial conditions are equal to 0, so that one would be equal to 0. So then what is the relationship you have? You have that ys equal to, if we take common us, so you have that c into si minus a inverse b plus d into us. You are getting it from here. So then you can see from this expression that output is equal to some matrix here into input. So this is actually your transfer function matrix, and it is applicable to multi-input multi-output as well as single input single output system. So this is the transfer function. So then what we have done, so suppose a dynamical system is given and you have that state space representation. Then whenever you have that state space representation, just directly applying this formula, that is c into si minus a inverse b plus d, you know, you have that c, a, b and d matrices known. Then just by applying this formula you can find what is the transfer function. So let us take one small example, then I think it would be clear. So suppose you have a dynamical system which is described by this differential equation 5 dy by dt plus 6y equal to 2 ut. So these all are t, function of t. So then from here, just by taking Laplace transform, taking Laplace transform and all initial conditions are 0, what you get? The transfer function that you would have, that is, so here s square ys plus 5s ys plus 6 ys equal to 2 us. So now if you take it is as single input single output system, so then you can represent it as output by input, so that one equal to 2 by s square plus 5s plus 6. So we have seen this particular method for finding transfer function from differential equation. Then we'll see that how to get transfer function from state space model. So first we need to find what is the state space model. So let x1 is that state that is equal to y. So then x2 another state, that is x1 dot equal to y dot. So as it is second order system, so we can see here as it is second order system, so two state variables are needed to describe that system. So here x2 equal to y dot, so we can represent it as x2 dot, here x2 dot equal to minus 5 dy by dt. So dy by dt means x2 minus 6 y equal to x1. Here you can see y equal to x1 plus 2u. So this is that first state equation, and the second state equation is x1 dot, here you can see x1 dot equal to x2. And if you just write these two state equations in matrix form, we will be having that state space representation, that is x2 dot x1 dot equal to, here you can see that is minus 5 minus 6. Again I am just pointing out, you can follow any sequence as you wish. So here I have taken x2 x1, you can take x1 x2, it does not matter. So that is 2 0 u, and so this is that system equation, and here you can see that output y is equal to x1. So you have x2 x1, and of course that d is equal to 0 because your output does not depend on that input, so d equal to 0. So what is your A matrix for this particular system? A matrix is -5, -6, 1, 0, and B matrix is 2, 0, this one, this is your A matrix, and C matrix is 0, 1, and D matrix is 0. So now we are interested in what would be the transfer function. As we have seen, whenever we have that state space representation, that means we have A, B, C, D matrices, directly just by applying this formula we can find the transfer function. So let us see that GS, here you can see the GS equal to C into SI minus A inverse B plus D. So first we find what is that term. So here, as A is equal to 2 cross 2 matrix, so it would be S into 2 cross 2 identity matrix. So we are just finding what is SI minus A. So A matrix is -6, -5, -6, 1, 0. So that is S minus minus plus, that is 5, then 6, -1, and here you have S. So then if you take the inverse of this matrix, that is SI minus A inverse, so you have the determinant. So determinant is S into S plus 5 plus 6, and the adjoint of that matrix is S, here S plus 5, then minus plus. I think if you forget the inverse of that matrix, I suggest you to see some linear algebra book, and here this is that inverse of that matrix, just changing by sign as it is 2 cross 2 matrix. So now let us see what is GS. GS equal to C into SI minus A inverse B plus D. So what is your C? C is this one. So C is that matrix, that is 0, 1. Now SI minus A inverse, we get it. So if we that just say this is delta, so then it would be 1 by delta into this matrix S minus 6, 1, S plus 5, that is C into SI minus A inverse. And what is your B? So B is here 2, 0, 2, 0, and you can see that D is a 0 matrix, so D equal to 0 here. So now if you just simplify this matrix multiplication, so that is 1 by delta, I am taking to the left, and if you just multiply this one, this matrix, it would be equal to 1, and here you would have S plus 5, just simple matrix multiplication, and here you have 2 by delta. And what is delta? So delta we get S square plus 5S plus 6. So that is S square plus 5S plus 6. Here you can see. So this is the delta. So now this is the transfer function that you can have from the state space model. So here you see we have already derived that transfer function, 2 by S square plus 5S plus 6. And from state space also we get the same transfer function. Here you can see 2 by S square plus 5S plus 6. So this is that method. That means whenever you have the state space model, from there directly you can find what is the transfer function. So now let us see how to find the solution of the state equation. So this is that state equation you have, that is that x dot t equal to a xt plus b ut with the initial condition x0. And now if you take the Laplace transform, you will be getting this expression. So let us write that expression. That is, here we can just put that heading, that solution of the state equation. How to find the solution? So we have seen that we have that expression, that is xs equal to si minus a inverse x0 into that plus that term. So I write that xs equal to si minus a inverse x0 plus si minus a inverse, that is b into us. So now what would be your xt? So xt is obtained just by taking inverse Laplace transform. So if you take inverse Laplace transform of this state equation, so here you will get that a si minus a inverse b us. So interestingly, so this si minus a inverse already we have seen, si minus a inverse, here you can see, so this is actually one matrix, si minus a, this is a matrix, and where each element is actually the function of s, either constant or function of s. So now this particular matrix is denoted as e to the power at. So this matrix is known as state transition matrix. So here I am noting down that this Laplace inverse of si minus a inverse, so this matrix is denoted as e to the power at, and this matrix is known as state transition matrix. And just look at this particular term. So here you can take that this is one term and this is another term. And as we have seen that Laplace inverse of si minus a inverse is e to the power at. So this particular term you are getting if you take the Laplace transform of that. So you can say that, so suppose this one is g1 of s and b into us, that is, say, suppose g2 into s. So you have two matrix functions in Laplace domain which are in product form, and you are just trying to find what is the Laplace inverse of this. As you know that the Laplace inverse of the product of two functions you will get in time domain, that is the convolution of two functions. That thing we have discussed in Laplace transformation. So this is actually that convolution. So here you can see that there are two functions, one is g1s and another one is g2s. So this g1s is basically si minus a inverse, and if you take the Laplace inverse of that, you will be getting that g1t, and g1t is nothing but e to the power at that we have defined, and g2t is b into ut. So now if you take the Laplace inverse of this particular function, what will you get? You get that xt equal to e to the power at x0 plus the convolution of these two. So that means 0 to t, the first function is e to the power at, so that would be e a t minus tau and the second function is but, so that is bu tau d tau. So this is that solution. So this is very important. That means the solution of the state equation is this one. Whenever you have x dot t equal to ax plus bu t with the initial condition x0, the solution of that equation is xt equal to e to the power at x0 plus 0 to t e to the power at minus tau bu tau d tau. So this is that solution. You should remember this thing, because whenever a system is given and if you are asked to find what is the state equations, so just by applying this particular formula you can have that solution. Now what is that output equation? Here you can see it directly, that is yt equal to c into xt plus dut, and you just replace this xt here. So then you have c into e to the power at x0 plus c into, so that means if you have that state solution of that state equation, then directly you can find what would be the solution of, what is the output of that system. So this is that output of that system yt. So this is that output. So now, so let us see what we have done. So we have actually considered that this is that state equations. This is that state equations. X dot equal to axt plus but. If you have, this is that state equation. We are trying to find what is the solution xt. So now the solution we have obtained via Laplace transform. So here if you take Laplace transform, you will get this expression. Then if we write that expression, we get it, and xt is the Laplace inverse of this. And whenever we take Laplace inverse, we will be getting a new matrix which is called state transition matrix. And the final solution that we have, that is that states of that systems, and this is that output of that system. So now we are interested in that particular matrix, the state transition matrix. We'll be just discussing a little bit more on that state transition matrix, and we want to see why it is called state transition matrix. First, let us see why it is called state transition matrix. Suppose ut equal to 0. That means no input is applied to that system, ut equal to 0. So when ut equal to 0, you can see here, when ut equal to 0, so this whole term would be equal to 0. So that means your state equation is e to the power at x0. So from here you can understand that whenever that initial condition is given to you, how the state will be evolved whenever time progresses, that is actually indicated by this particular matrix, that is e to the power at exponential matrix. So that's why the transitions of the state is indicated by this matrix. So that's why it is called the state transition matrix. And now you may be asking one thing, that means why this Laplace inverse of this one equal to e to the power at, why this is that solution. So let us see. Suppose you have this solution, so we are taking that would be the solution, because you can see here, whenever input equal to 0, you have that state equation axt. Then if you take the Laplace inverse, you have that ssx minus x0 equal to axs. So if you take this term to the left, you have that si minus a into xs equal to x0, then xs equal to si minus A inverse x0. So now we are finding that xt. So if you take that Laplace inverse, you will be getting Si minus A inverse x0, and we are telling that this matrix is that state transition matrix e to the power at, and this is that solution. So now this is interesting to see that is it really that solution of this particular equation? The answer is yes. How? So that means if we take the derivative of this equation, so then again you will get back this particular equation. Then you can say that xt equal to e to the power at x0 is the solution of this differential equation. So let us see if we take the derivative of this particular solution. So that means we will be getting dxt by dt equal to derivative of ddt of e to the power at x0, and e to the power at is that exponential matrix that is equal to a at plus at square by factorial 2, just exponential. Only the difference is these all are matrices. So this is that exponential matrix. So now if you take the derivative of that one, so that one would be equal to 0, this one equal to only a, and same way. And finally what you have, if you take the derivative of this one, you will get that dxt by dt equal to a e to the power at x0, and as e to the power at x0 equal to xt, so then you have axt. So then you can see that if you take the derivative of this solution, again you are getting back this particular equation, state equation. So now it is proved. That means xt equal to e to the power at x0 is the solution of the differential equation, and this e to the power at is equal to Laplace inverse of Si minus A inverse, which is called the state transition matrix. So another interesting thing we can notice here, that state transition matrix, here we can write the state transition matrix, state transition matrix satisfies the system equation. What is that system equation? So system equation is x dot t equal to axt. I am taking that homogeneous case. That means ut equal to 0. So now your state transition matrix, suppose that is phi t, it is denoted as e to the power at. So this statement says that state transition matrix that is phi t satisfies the system equation. So that means if we replace this one here, it must hold. So what is d phi t? So d phi by dt equal to ddt of e to the power at, and e to the power at equal to, here you can see that e to the power, so a e to the power at, and this e to the power at, so equal to what? A phi t, because we have denoted that phi t equal to e to the power at. So finally what expression we have, that d phi t by dt equal to a phi t. So that means you can see here this phi, that is that state transition matrix, also satisfies this system equation. So this is very important property. And so what we have seen here for finding the solution of the state equation, we have taken that expression just after taking Laplace transform, and then xt would be equal to Laplace inverse of this, and here that initial condition is 0. So sometimes it may happen that the initial condition is at t0. Then what would be that expression? So this expression would be modified as, say xt would be equal to e to the power a t minus t0 xt0, that is that initial condition, t0 to t e to the power a t minus tau b u tau d tau. So this is actually the general expression of the state, and whenever you take that t equal to t0 equal to 0, if you take, so you will get back this particular expression. And now we have, in solving this particular state equation, we get that Laplace inverse of Si minus A inverse equal to e to the power at, and that is that state transition matrix. And we found two important properties. One is that this is, first of all, this is one exponential matrix, and here we have seen that the state transition matrix also satisfies the system equation. So let us just solve one example and then we'll stop today's class. So let us see how to find that state transition matrix. One example. So suppose you have a state equation that is x1 x2 and 0 1 ut. So here ut is that input, and you can say that ut is the step input, unit step. So we are interested in what would be the state transition matrix for this particular system equation. So now the state transition, so find the state transition matrix. So for finding state transition matrix, you need not to know what is that output matrix. That's why I am not writing here. And we have seen that state transition matrix, this is equal to Si minus A inverse e to the power at. So first we find what is Si minus A as before. So as A is a 2 cross 2 matrix, so that would be a 2 cross 2 identity matrix into S, and here you have 0 1 minus 2 minus 3, that is that A matrix here. So we have S minus 1 minus minus plus, so that is 2, and S plus 3. So now we are interested in to find what is Si minus A inverse. So Si minus A inverse is adjoint of A, determinant of A. I hope you all know, but again I am just showing it here. So adjoint of A is, that is S plus 3 1 minus 2 S, and the determinant is S plus 3. Here you can see S into S plus 3 into plus 2. So here if you write it in factor form, you have two factors, that is S plus 2 into S plus 1. So now you can write it just I am applying that matrix algebra. So all elements will be divided by this term, and you have s divided by s plus 2. So now I think from this example it is clear that Si minus A inverse, this matrix actually looks like this. This is a rational polynomial matrix. So again, if you just simplify that one, you will get, I am just writing it in factor form, that is s plus 1 minus 1 by s plus 2, the first term, the second term. So write it in partial fraction form, 2 by s plus 1 plus 2 by s plus 2, and here you have s plus 1 by 2 by s plus 2. So that means this particular matrix can be written in this partial fraction form. So now what is Laplace inverse of Si minus A inverse? So now you can understand that Si minus A inverse, this matrix is this one. So now if you take Laplace inverse of that, you know that this is a to the power at. So you need to take the Laplace inverse of each term. So there are 4 terms. So if you take the Laplace inverse of that, what will you get? So first one you will get that 2 e to the power minus t minus e to the power minus 2t. So this is that first term if you take Laplace inverse. For second term you will get that e to the power minus t minus e to the power minus 2t. Third term you will get 2 into e to the power minus t plus, so we are taking the Laplace inverse of those terms. Then e to the power minus t plus 2 into e to the power minus 2t. So from here it is clear that if you take Laplace inverse of this matrix, then this is that exponential matrix which is denoted as e to the power at. And from this example it is clear that what is Si minus A inverse, and if you take the Laplace inverse of that, then you will get the state transition matrix and it looks like this. So now if you are interested in what is the state equations, so you can see that state equation xt equal to e to the power at into x0 plus 0 to t e to the power at minus tau b u tau d tau. So now I will just replace e to the power at here and e to the power t minus tau here. So if I replace it, what will we get? So here I am just writing e to the power at x0. So you need to replace e to the power at here, and if x0 is given, you can just multiply with that vector. I am not writing that one. I am just interested in to see what happens if you take that integration. So 0 to t e to the power at minus tau, that means this matrix would be 2 e to the power minus t minus tau minus e to the power minus 2t minus tau. Then the second term is e to the power minus t minus tau minus e to the power minus 2t minus tau, and here you have 2 e to the power minus t minus tau, this term, and 2 e to the power minus 2t minus tau. So basically in place of t I am writing t minus tau, and the last term is e to the power minus t minus tau plus 2 e to the power minus 2t minus tau. So this is actually e to the power t minus tau. This matrix I have written. Then what else you have? You have b and u tau. And what is your b matrix? From the state equation you can see this is your b matrix. So your b matrix is 0 1 into u tau, and u tau is your input, and we have taken that this is step input, so that would be equal to 1 d tau. So now if you just multiply that one, the term inside that integration, then you have 0 to t. If you multiply it, you will be having only two elements, this element and that element. So that is, you have e minus t minus tau minus e to the power minus 2t minus tau, and here you have e minus t minus tau, this term, plus 2 e to the power minus 2t minus tau. So reason is, this is a matrix which is a 2 cross 2 matrix, and you are multiplying with 0 into 1 vector, that is that B matrix. So basically you will be having only this term and that term, and now this is d tau. So now if you just integrate each individual term, so this term and that term from 0 to t, what will you get? You get that, so here you can see we are just finding xt, and you have two vectors in this particular example, that is x1 and x2. So you would have x1t into x2t. So this vector would be equal to e to the power at into x0. So you need to replace this e to the power at here, this e to the power at, what we get here. So you need to replace it, and you can take any initial condition, and then after integration you will get half minus e to the power minus t plus half e to the power minus 2t, and this term you will get e to the power minus t e to the power minus 2t. So this is that solution, this is that solution of the state equation. So what we have discussed today, so today we have started with that particular example, and we have seen that state space representation is not unique, and we have understood what is similarity transform. What is similarity transform? Then we have represented that state space in general form for multi-input, multi-output, and whenever it is LTI, linear time invariant systems, we found that it can be represented in matrix form, and this is that representation of state space in block diagram form. And then whenever you have that state space description, how to find the transfer function, this is that relationship we get, and then we have discussed how to find the solution, and here we have taken some example to understand how to get the transfer function from state space. And here this is that solution of that state equation, and we have defined what is state transition matrix. We have also understood that state transition matrix is an exponential matrix that satisfies that state equation, and we have seen how to calculate that state transition matrix from state equation and how to get the solutions of state equations. So thank you.